While YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram's loading up, guys, I'm just going to go back to where we're talking about today. Sending data on YouTube. Oh, it's acting weird. Okay. All right, so far so good. All right, so Dark, you said, yep, conquered by the Persians. Let's see what else you're talking about. The following ways references to the church. I answered that. That's not what St. Paul is talking about. Yep, conquered by the Persians. Ah, I see. Jerusalem was destroyed, so was Rome and Damascus. So what was St. Paul talking about when he says it? Paul used the Greek term apostasia, which means apart. See, that's a Dark Palladium. That's a good question again that you're bringing up here. What I'm trying to help you understand is the what you're interpreting the falling away as. That is again here. Let me pull up the slides one more time. Okay. All right. So for those who are on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, finally streaming. It's working. It's working. All right. Mental note. I need to write this down. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I need to note this. When streaming, restart laptop first. All right. That was the problem the whole time. Now see. Okay, so question that Palladian had. Dark Palladian had a question from TikTok, and he's talking about the term "the falling away." And let me go to my book as well. So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page here. So falling away again, a lot of traditions of men teach falling away. It means apostasy. Take the definition of what falling away means in Second Thessalonians. Here, let's go to Second Thessalonians, just so we're all on the same page here. So Second Thessalonians talks about the falling away. These are things that has to happen prior to Jesus' second coming. So we're going to load this up here, and we're looking at the term falling away. Now here we have a brother, Dark Palladian says Paul used the Greek term apostasia, which means apart. Problem is that that is not what Paul is talking about. Now, here it says concerning the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ and gathering them together to Him. Or soon be not do not be soon shaken or trouble minded by the spirit or by whatever. Is this okay? Here we go. So now we're talking about the day of Christ has come. We're talking about the second coming of Jesus, the rapture. Now, Paul says two events has to happen first. The first event is let no one deceive you by any means, as that day that day will not come unless we see here the falling away comes first. So this is one of two events that has to happen. One of two events that has to happen, and that is the falling away. The second one is, and the man of sin must be revealed. So what you're finding here is that two specific events, and Dark Palladian, this is going to be hard for you to understand if you cannot separate yourself from the traditions of men. The traditions of men teaches that this is something you cannot see. Traditions of men says apostasia when Christians fall away. It does not say anything about Christians falling away. That's not what it says. It does not say Christians are going to fall away. These are two specific events because and just think about this. Look what God has shown us, not traditions of men, but what God has shown us is that prophecy are public specific events. And again, I explain this in my book. So those who don't know, I published this book, The Falling Away, and it's about how the book of Revelation is unfolding right now, right before our eyes, and also foretells the rise of Pope Francis and the destruction of the Vatican, aka the falling away. And you can find a link in bio. But tradition teaches us that the falling away is when Christians fall away. You don't know how many Christians need to fall away. You don't know what regions Christians need to fall away. You don't know how it's going to look when people fall away. It's just the most vague prophecy that is taught in the Christian community. Christians are going to fall away, and you just don't know how many. Now, the issue with that is that is not the patterns that God has already shown us when He talks about prophecy. Prophecy is public, it's specific, and it's measurable. Look at the examples of all the prophecies Jesus fulfilled. The prophecy of Messiah would ride into Jerusalem on a donkey was a public event when Jesus rode into Jerusalem on a donkey. The prophecy of Messiah would be crucified was a public event when Jesus was crucified. The prophecy of Messiah, his garment would begin before was his, and when his garment was given for it, they were public specific event. The prophecy of Messiah would be betrayed for 30 pieces of silver was a specific public event. So we see, and it was immeasurable. It was specific and measurable. So over and over again, we see that in terms of what the pattern that God has shown us is that prophecy is specific, it's public, and it can be measured. It's visible for everybody. Now, in the terms of what the American tradition regarding falling away has been repeated so much that no one or many are not moving away from the traditions of men based off what God is updating us today. As you see here, the falling away here, as I'm showing you, and I'll show you again, is an event. It is when Vatican is destroyed. The term falling away is a Jewish figure of speech for a destroyed city. For example, if you stole my bike and I said in return, because you stole my bike, an eye for an eye, you would know that I don't mean I'm going to come take your eye out because you stole my bike, right? If I say to you an eye for eye because you stole my bike, you know I'm not going to steal your eye. Though I say an eye for an eye, it does not mean I'm going to steal your bike. The Jewish term an eye for an eye is a figure of speech, meaning what you done to me, I'm going to do to you. So if you stole my bike and I say an eye for an eye, then that means since you stole my bike, I'm going to steal your bike. And that's what the term an eye for an eye means. So when you see in return regarding the rapture, there's two events that has to happen that Paul writes about here. Two events. The first event is the falling away that comes first. Falling away is the destruction of a city. So I'm going to show you this again. So when you look here, and I put this again, this is all documented in my book where I explain this to you. Okay, I explain this to you in my book, and I show you how in Isaiah we see the destruction of a city. In Isaiah is Babylon. It says Babylon is fallen, is fallen. So using the term is falling as relates to destruction of a city, specifically Babylon. Jeremiah, Babylon has suddenly fallen and been destroyed. So we see fallen again is a term used in Jeremiah talking about the destruction of a city. So we see that happen again. So when we look again and we find here how in Revelation, we see that another angel says Babylon is fallen, a Western term, it's falling. So we see again the destruction of a city, and the term falling is associated to a city being destroyed. And we look again, Revelation 18, and the angel cried out, said, Babylon the Great is fallen, is fallen. So we see again, we find a pattern of when, and this is a Jewish figure of speech. Do not rely on the traditions of men. I'm showing you exactly what the scriptures are showing us, that God has showed us over and over again. You're either going to trust the traditions of men that says the falling away, they're going to say the falling away is when Christians fall away. How many Christians need to fall away? We don't know. What region of the world are Christians going to fall away? We don't know. How is it supposed to look like when Christians fall away? We don't know. Versus the pattern God is showing us here that I'm citing right in front of you, the destruction of a city that has a figure. The Jews use a figure of speech called falling, 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 as in terms of a city falling away or a city being destroyed. So God is showing us here in the scriptures the destruction of a city is something that is falling. And that goes exactly with all the other patterns that God has shown us when it comes to the falling away, or comes to a city being destroyed, or an eye for an eye. Over and over again, it's all talking about the same thing. We're talking about the destruction of a city. So going back to what I was saying before, when Paul is talking about here that we're looking for a destruction of a city, when he talks about the falling away that comes first, what we're actually looking at is the destruction of a city. That has to come first because that's a specific event. That's a specific event associated to what the false prophet will do who has to come first. And then because the same thing goes with his counterpart and the man of sin who's opposed, the man of sin when the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition who opposes exalts himself above all that is called God, the Antichrist. We see this section here, and the man of sin. This is talking about the Antichrist when he goes into the temple and call himself God. So we see that this has to do with the Antichrist, another specific event. So over and over and over again, we're seeing a specific pattern where this is an event that happens as it relates to the Antichrist, and we see another event that happens as it relates to the false prophet. And again, we go back to what I've been trying to show you guys for 10 years now, is that it relates to what Pope Francis will do as the Antichrist, as the false prophet, and how he would destroy the Vatican in terms of it being the falling away event, and then what the Antichrist will do when he goes into the temple and calls himself God. Two events for two specific individuals, known as the falling away and when the man of sin is revealed. If you can't see that, I don't know what else. I don't know what else to say. But again, if you're so loyal to the traditions of men, you won't see this. You want to hold on to the traditions of men rather than accept the truth that God is showing us all in the scriptures. Why? I don't know. I don't know why it's so hard to just relent yourself of what history teaches and just let God edify you. I don't know why everyone is so wrong with being. It's why everyone's so hesitant for God to correct them, especially when He's correcting us with what we see with our own eyes. So, as it relates to the falling away is an event. It's a specific event. Let me duplicate this so I can go back and forth. So, and again, if you go to any Bible app here, and let me go back to this so you guys can see. Let's go to Fallen. Here we go. You can see here Isaiah 29. When Babylon is destroyed, it's fallen. It's falling. When the Babylon is destroyed, the city is fallen. It's fallen. It's been destroyed. Babylon is falling. It's falling. Babylon is falling. It's falling. That goes perfectly with when we see Paul talking about the destruction of a city when he says the falling away comes first. When the falling away comes first, it has to do with destruction of a city. And that's what I try to explain in my book, The Falling Away, which again shows what the false prophet will do as relates to the falling away, and what the Antichrist will do as it relates to the man of sin when he's revealed. So I hope that brings clarity to it so you can really understand what it is that God is showing us, because a lot of people don't get it. They just won't let the traditions of men, they won't let God edify them and stick to the traditions of men. And Satan's been, and let me tell you something, what's so funny. Satan has been brilliant in getting people to not trust what God is showing them right before their eyes. It's so odd to me that, like, when I read the scriptures and I see how Jesus fulfilled prophecy right before the eyes of Israel over and over and over again, they still was like, "Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if this is the Messiah. I'm not sure. If maybe he is. Maybe he isn't. I'm not quite sold on it." And I find that it's so interesting that when Jesus fulfilled prophecy, they still were confused. Jesus fulfilled prophecy. They was like, I don't know, maybe he is, maybe he isn't. He fulfilled prophecy again. I don't know, maybe he is and he isn't. Oh, man, there's no prophet. He can't be the Messiah because no prophet has ever come from Galilee. Oh, he's not the Messiah because he doesn't keep the Sabbath law. Oh, I mean, he's not the Messiah because the scripture says nobody knows where he comes from, but we know where he came from. You see, there was all these different excuses to explain away why he was not the Messiah, even though Jesus fulfilled prophecy right before the eyes of Israel over and over and over again. And Satan has been brilliant in getting Christians today to doubt God's word in so much that when he would usher in these events, people are so bound to the traditions of the men, they're unwilling to let God edify them based off what we can see happen today. It's so remarkable to see the same thing that happened to Israel is happening to the Christian church today. It is quite remarkable. quite remarkable. The two events that has to happen before Jesus' return is one, the falling away, and two, when the man of sin is revealed. And the two most important events that has to happen, the traditions of men tell you, you won't know anything about it. You won't be able to see it. You can't know about it. You can't see it. It's not measured. All these different excuses that God would give us so much. God would give us so much information, so many patterns, so many examples, so much disclosures, so many revelations in the book of Revelation. And he would give us all this, he would give us so much understanding that the two most important events leading to Jesus' second coming, somehow we're going to be oblivious and blind to it. Makes no sense to me. Makes no sense to me whatsoever when the two most significant events about the two events that has to happen leading to Jesus' second coming, as I'm going to put back on the screen here, when we see about the falling away that has to come first, we see the falling away that has to come first, and then the man of sin has to be revealed. Traditions of men following the doubts that Satan has planted in their minds, the traditions of men say you can't know what the falling away is because it's when Christians fall away. How many Christians? We don't know. Where? We don't know. What region? We don't know. What it'll look like? We don't know. It's just when Christians fall away. When prophecy is public, specific, and measurable. Everything Jesus did when he fulfilled prophecy, it was for the public, it was specific, and can be measured. But when it comes to these two prophetic events, we won't know anything. We won't know when the falling away. We don't know what it looks like. We don't know how many need to fall. We won't know. And then when it comes to the man of sin is revealed. When the man of sin revealed, let's talk about that. Look, let me show you guys this. This is just funny. So Jesus also says, the Son of Man is revealed. I want to make sure Luke 17:13. Now let's do this. Let's go to Luke 17:30. Look at this. Luke 17:30. So I really wanted to cut you guys up on things that's happening in the world. Now look at this. Jesus says there'll be a day, even so, when the Son of Man is revealed. So Jesus is talking about, let's put this in context too, so that people don't like, oh, you're reading it out of context. He's talking about his return. He's talking about the end of times. But on that day, when that Lot went out of Sodom and Gomorrah, and it rained fire and brimstone in heaven to destroy, even so it will be on that day when the Son of Man is revealed. So if you look at this passage right here, what Jesus is telling us, guess what? He's going to have a day when he's revealed. So Jesus is telling us there's going to be a day when he's revealed. He's going to have a revealing. And it's even further explained in the passage where Jesus, we have a book called the Book of Revelation, the revelation of Jesus Christ, when Jesus is revealed. Now, here's what's so funny about this, right? Now, watch this. I'm going to make sure I get your guys' attention. Now, look at this. Traditions of men teach, and this is probably why many Christian influencers, pastors, maybe this is probably why I'm so shunned and ignored. And I'm only bringing facts. I'm only showing the scriptures and the most common logic and the obvious proof. But maybe this is why I get overlooked. Maybe I don't know. All right, now look at this. The consensus is that God gave us two events that has to happen before Jesus returns: the falling away, and when the man of sin is revealed, who goes into the temple. The traditions of men teach, just by coincidence, there's no way to know when those two events will happen. Because again, traditions of men teach the falling away is when Christians fall away. How many Christians need to fall away? We don't know. What region of the world these Christians need to fall away? We don't know. What will it look like when Christians fall away? We don't know. Christians fall away. That is the common consensus. And when it comes to the second event, when the man of sin is revealed, the consensus from the institutional church is that you won't know who the man of sin is until he's revealed. There's no way to know. You cannot know who the man of sin is until he's revealed. It's impossible to know. You just won't know. But when you look at the pattern and examples that God has given us, it debunks those two myths. It debunks those two traditions that teach You can't know that teach the following ways when Christians fall away, and you can't know who the man of sin is before he's revealed. The scriptures debunk this, and this is why. So I showed you again as it relates to the falling away. I showed you how we know in the Bible the falling away is the destruction of a city. Isaiah wrote it. When Babylon was destroyed, he said it was falling. It's falling. Jeremiah, when Babylon is destroyed, it's falling. It's falling. When Revelation, we see that Babylon is destroyed, an angel says it's falling. It's falling. Revelation 18, which responds to chapter 17's event, angel responds to say it's falling. Babylon is falling. Destruction of a city is falling away. So the term falling away is destruction of a city based off the examples God has already given us. Now, see again, the other traditions of men teach you can't know who the man of sin is until he's revealed. Funny enough, Jesus himself tells us what revealed means. The traditions of men application, what revealed means, is different than what Jesus shows us what revealed means. Jesus says in his day that he will have a day where he, the Son of Man, will be revealed. So let's look. Oh, it might be help if I show you my screen, right? So I didn't even get to share my screen. I'm sorry, guys. Let me go back. So see, we see here in Second Thessalonians is talking about how the man of sin is revealed. Oh, let me go back. Let me go back. I want to see something real quick. Hopefully, this is only happening. Let's go here. The Revelation. I feel like I'm laggy on Instagram. Hopefully, I'm not. Hmm. All right, I'm gonna close this and go. Say Helen. So Gomez wifey says, "Are you already see the falling away happen in apostate church? Will the rapture happen before falling away?" All right, I'm going to make sure I reply back to those guys. Pope Dragon transfer power to United Nations Muslims, Antichrist, and Pope sake. I don't know what that means. All right, so I'm gonna just broadcast off Instagram on my phone because it seems like it's very laggy and it's not a good stream for Instagram. So I'm gonna take that off and just keep this here. I want to make sure I can serve everyone well. Okay, all right. So let's do it like this. Everyone, 350 people are live right now. Okay, so let's take that off. Let's do a reboot. Mm-mm. All right. Okay. Hey there. Hello. Hello. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Hopefully, you guys will. This will be a lot smoother than what I'm doing on the what I'm doing on my computer. It's just not good. It's just not good enough. All right, let's go live again. Let's go live again. I don't know those on YouTube. Thanks for watching. Hello YouTube. Hello those on YouTube. Hello. You can put in the chat if you have any questions about what I'm talking about. Hello YouTube. You guys are quiet out there, but thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Hey Mama Pops. All right. Okay. It's not a way in which I can share my screen. Um because I won't be able to see your comments. So all I can suggest is if you pull up a laptop, you could also stream this on YouTube and Facebook as well. Connection error. Huh? Sending data. I don't know why YouTube's having such a problem today. Yeah, YouTube is having a problem. I cannot broadcast. All right, let's shut it down.